All right, here's Chapter 0, Arithmetic Review. This is Section 0.4 on Properties of Algebra. So with this section, what we're doing is we're looking at how to simplify expressions. And so there's several different ways. The first one is substitution of variables, and then we're going to use PEMDAS to simplify after that. And so what we're doing is we have some kind of an expression we're given, and then we're given what the different variables represent. So in this case, the z represents 4. In this case, y represents 1. And so what we do is we substitute those values in, and then we simplify. So we have 6 plus 4 minus 1 over 3. Well, it's 6 plus 4. Now we're just going to use PEMDAS. We're going to go left to right for addition, subtraction. We'll take 6 plus 4 is 10, minus 1 is 9. The denominator is just 3, so we just leave it as 3. Now we take 9 divided by 3, and we get 3. Okay, what about the next one? Well, here it says j is 4 and k is 5. And so we're going to plug those values in here and simplify. So k is 5, so we have 5 times 3 squared minus, and then we have j, which is 4, plus k, which is 5, and then we have minus 5. All right, so PEMDAS says we're going to do exponents first, then we're going to do parentheses, and then we're going to do multiplication, and then we're going to do our subtraction. So that's going to give us 5 times 3 squared is 9, and then minus, well, now we can do 4 plus 5. That's going to give us 9, and then minus 5. Okay. So from there, what we have to do is we have to take 5 times 9, which is 45, and then we have plus a negative 9 plus a negative 5. Okay. So now we can add from left to right, or if we see something that makes things easier, we can go a different way, because if we take 45 and add a negative 5, that gives us a 40, and then subtract 9, that's 31. That's easier to do in your head than 45 minus 9, and then after that, subtract 5 more. So in either case, I'm going to go and do the easy one first. I'm going to go here and say 45 minus 5 is 40 plus our negative 9, and so that's going to be 31. Okay. And again, if we did it strictly left-right, we'd have to do that first, and then after that, we'd subtract that off, and then we would have our final answer, and it should exactly represent the 31 as well. Now, the second thing we can do is we can combine like terms for expressions. So when the variables have the exponents that are exactly the same, those are like terms. Or if we just have numbers, we can add those together too. So looking at A, we have a negative 4x plus 2 minus 4. There's only one x here. So what that means is we can only add those two together. So that has negative 4x. 2 minus 4 gives us minus 2. And that's as far as we can go as far as simplifying this by adding like terms. Now the next one, we have x's, we have numbers. And so what I like to do when I'm adding like terms, I'll underline like terms in a similar fashion. That way I know I have one line here, so that's what I do. So I have x minus 6x. So basically I take the larger minus the smaller. 6 minus 1 is 5. Take the sign of the larger, which is negative. So I have a minus 5x. Then I have a minus 10 plus 1. And so basically I take the larger 10 minus 1 is 9. Take the sign of the larger is minus, so minus 9. Okay. Now looking at the third one, we have x squared, y, y, and then this 4 is over here by itself. There's nothing to add to, so I won't underline it. So I have a 9x squared minus 8x squared. Well, 9 minus 8 is 1, so I have just x squared. Here I have 4y plus 7y, so 7 plus 4 is 11, so plus 11y. And then I still have my plus 4 there on the end. Okay, so that's the second way we can simplify expressions. Now the third way is we're going to do the distributive property, which basically says we're going to take a times b and then a times c and add them together. So basically we're getting rid of parentheses. And then after that, we're going to see if there's any like terms to add together. We want to be sure to watch signs at each step as well, and just kind of work through it using the distribution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this times this and this times this. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 4, 28. There's no like terms, so that means I'm done. What about here? Well, again, I'm going to take this times this and this times this. So I have a negative 9x times x. Well, x times x is x squared, so that gives me a negative 9x squared. Here I have a negative 9x times negative 4. Negative times negative is positive. 9 times 4 is 36, and then times x. And so that would be my simplified form here. Now this one is really a negative times all of those, so it's really a negative 1. So I'm going to, again, still multiply through. So a negative 1 times a negative 8, negative times negative is positive, so I end up with a positive 8. Here I have a negative times a positive, so it's going to be negative, and I get just negative 7x. Okay. So I'll stop there, and then we'll come back with actual problems combining everything.